Hey, good morning. Welcome to Hobby Evolution, episode 1292. It's Friday. Happy Friday. We are heading into the weekend. This has been such a pleasant week compared to last week, getting ready for the Madison Card Show and then going down to the Sammy Sosa event. It was a lot all at once. So this week, no weekend plans, which means I can get work done and hopefully tackle this atrocious basement. It's kind of and I don't get embarrassed with my cards and boxes being everywhere. I mean, look at behind me. But our landscaping company had to come over yesterday and turn the irrigation system, water sprinkler system off. And so they have to come in and there's a separate water turnoff for the outside sprinklers. So I have to come down to the basement. And so I go open the garage for him to access the panel. And he's like, I'm going to have to go downstairs. And I'm like, oh, fuck. And I'm like, all right, that door downstairs, go ahead, go downstairs. I'll meet you down. So I come through and I'm like, oh my God. I was a little embarrassed. Because it's a disaster zone. It's literally, I remember friends of my parents that were hoarders, and there were like paths. There were like paths with just stuff everywhere, and that's what my basement has become, paths. So I need to get that shit figured out maybe this weekend. So I'm looking forward to the weekend. Next weekend, I've got the Janesville Card Show, Sunday, October 13th, which is also my wife's birthday. It's a Sunday. We don't do anything for birthdays. Like next Saturday night, we're going to go out to dinner with my mother-in-law and my wife's grandma. But our birthday, we just don't, like, my wife's like, what do you want to do for your birthday? I'm like, I don't know. Let's go to sushi. Instead of carry out, let's actually go and sit out. My birthday's in June, so we can sit outside on the patio. So we're not big birthday. We're just not big holiday celebrators. We just don't celebrate the holiday. Like Rosh Hashanah was 2 nights ago. We had dinner, but that's it. Christmas, we exchange a few presents, but nothing big. We put up a Christmas tree. Halloween, we pass out candy. We don't decorate anything like that. We're just not big holiday people. It's a good thing we're not in Korea, like George, where there's 74 holidays every year. I was watching the Hobby Drive on George's channel, and man, another holiday in Korea. Y'all got lots of holidays over there. So I was able to get caught up. Did quite a bit of shipping yesterday morning. I was Ernie free in the morning, and then got the little rascal back for the afternoon. And I'm talking like we're sharing custody, sharing custody of our dog. So I actually used the afternoon since I wasn't focused on shipping. I listed and listed and listed. Oh my God. I don't think I'm going to do another batch of magazine auctions ever again. And I shouldn't say that because I probably will. But I listed about 100 wrestling magazines, and it takes forever. It takes forever to list magazines. And it's like you're taking photos of the inside, and it's not as easy as just scanning them through and boop, click, couple clicks. It's like, ugh. And I get ADD, so I list like one and I'm like, oh, I'm going to go check this. And that's a Bo problem. That's not a listing. That's just a me problem. But I got about 100 listed. So last night, those auctions went live. I don't think anybody in the live chat is into wrestling magazines or wrestling in general, professional wrestling, that is. But if you are, and you're watching the replay and you're interested, Pro Wrestling Illustrated, which I was collecting. I was trying to collect the run of those magazines during COVID. It was my hobby away from my hobby. It's actually what I collected when I got away from baseball cards in the mid 90s. I was a wrestling magazine collector. And at one point, I think I had like over 300. And this is when you have to buy them on the newsstand for $3-4 a magazine. Like I made very shitty decisions as a child with my allowance. I used to make fun of my friends whose parents would make them save their money. And I'm like, oh, you moron, oh, ha, ha, ha. Sucker, you got to save your money, put it in the bank, you loser. And I'm out pissing it away on penny candy and fucking wrestling magazines. Kids don't do that at home. So wrestling magazines, Pro Wrestling Illustrated, all the way back. I think the earliest is 1982, all the way up to like 2020, I think. There's also a couple of random Big Time Wrestling from California. I think that's like 1977, that program. And then there's a Wrestling Review magazine from 1962. So those are all at auction now. A few already have bids, so I'm happy with that. I'm actually tracking closely the percentages of what auctions are selling, like how many of the auctions are actually getting bids. Last night, auctions ending last night were the Wisconsin sports bids. I think there was a lower percentage of auctions with bids in last night's auctions. Fortunately, and I think a friend of the show bid on the Giannis cards. There were like 30 Giannis cards, which all got bids. So that really helped out the percentages. But still, I had quite a few go unsold. I'll probably just relist them as buy it now, and just let them sit in my eBay store. But it was a big ticket Thursday. And big ticket Thursday, I sold at my Wisconsin's auction last night on eBay a 1929 Wisconsin Badgers football ticket stub, sold for $80 shipped. That's not all. This stack of ticket stubs, all Wisconsin Badgers, sold for $100. 100 ticket stubs, $100. I got $1 a piece. Now here, I might have taken less. So here's the thing. I listed those on Thursday. Those sold in like less than 24 hours. Very happy with that. So I just grabbed it, and I've got probably a few hundred more. So I'm going to put another lot up on eBay, which, by the way, 99centcards.com. So originally I'm going to put 100 ticket stubs up for $100, and we'll see if I get any offers. Shortly, maybe 12 hours after listing, I had somebody focus in on a ticket stub and said, hey, if this lot doesn't sell, I'm interested in buying this ticket. Okay, there's probably a reason they want to buy it. Usually, if it's like a personal reason, they'll spill more beans. They'll share some information like, oh, this is my birthday, or this was my first Badger game. I really want this ticket. And then it's like, okay, whatever. But when they just say, hey, if you split this up, I want this ticket, that usually means that ticket represents something of substance. So I saw the message, and I went to Google, and I looked it up. It was against Eastern Michigan in 1996. I went to newspapers.com, and that happened to be Ron Dayne's college debut. I'm like, oh, hey. So I went to the listing. I hit revise. I raised the price nominally from 100 to 125. And I put in the title, Ron Dayne debut, 9/7/96 or whatever it was. And a few hours later, I got an offer of $75. Now, normally, having not known the Ron Dayne information, I'm like, oh, I would have taken that originally. But now, armed with this new information, I countered at, I think, 110. And then they countered back at 100. And I'm like, sold. That was my original buy it now price. You got a deal. So I've got some more. And I knew, so these tickets came from like a hoarder like me, I think. And I'm sure they haven't been cherry picked. So there's probably ticket stubs in there of something of note, like Ron Dane's debut, where Ron Dane breaks the rushing record. I'm sure those tickets are in there. It seems like it's in batches, though. These tickets were all from like 1993 to 1996, but I also have ticket stubs from like the into the 2010s. So I will be on the lookout for like Russell Wilson or the Ron Dane rushing record whenever that happened. There are some like NCAA ticket stubs. These I held back because it's Tennessee women's basketball against Wisconsin, 1996. So these might be of something I don't know. This is the Ohio State game from 95. I don't know if that had any. I haven't looked it up yet. So I will be looking some of these ticket stubs up. So I ended up sold 101 ticket stubs for $180. So you can't beat that. These were all Goodwill. All of these tickets came in a recent Goodwill pallet. So, and I've got a whole bunch more. Probably if this stacks 100, there might be 500 ticket stubs. All mostly Badgers. There's a random Brewers ticket stub. How about the Brewers from 1995 against the Tigers, who are still in the playoffs, but the Tigers or the Brewers are not. How about that yesterday? Brewers lose. Pete Alonso coming through. Mark Marinello and his team live for another day. How about it? So I was slightly rooting for the New York Mets in that series. What else is going on? What else? I think that's about it. All I did yesterday, it seemed like, was list fucking wrestling magazines. So please bid. If you want wrestling mag, please bid on those. John Keating's in the house. By the way, I got a mail day, and it's still upstairs, but John gave me, I did tweet it though, so I can show you what John sent me. One of the best racks and most personal racks that I've ever, definitely the most personal rack that I've ever received. So I thank you, John. He sent me a message and he said, hey, open this with Amy, who's my wife. And so I did. And this was what was in the mail from John Keating. Thank you so much. That is our beloved Biscuit, who passed away this summer. And it did bring a tear to my eye. It's a happy card, and it brings tears of joy. And it's just, there's our beautiful little Biscuit. So thank you, John Keating, so much. I opened it up, and I'm like, what's this? Because it was in a tag bag from Tag Grading. And I'm like, why did he want me to open this with my wife? And so I opened it up, and my wife couldn't see. And I'm just like, oh my God. Wow. Like, that was my reaction. My wife's, what? Let me see it. So thank you, John. Really appreciate it. Means a lot to both my wife and I. Let's go to the chat. We've got George in the house. Which holiday is it today, George? George, another hobby. It's another holiday here in South Korea. Orlando's in the house. Good morning. Christian's in the house. Let's go Tigers. Do we have baseball today? I thought when I was looking up, there was like no baseball, but maybe I'm mistaken. Because it doesn't seem like Friday there would be no games, right? That can't be. Scores. Thursday. There's no games on a Friday? What the hell? So tomorrow we've got baseball. Christian's Tigers open things up tomorrow at noon against the Cleveland Guardians. The Mets and Phillies at 3:08. The Royals and Yankees at 5:38. Padres, Dodgers, 7:38. So there you go. Postseason baseball resumes tomorrow. Kyle's in the house. Good morning. Cooter's here. What's happening? Lewis in the house. Good morning. Mr. Archer. Good morning. SoCal Guy 1967's in the house. John Meyer says, thank God it's Free for All Friday. So happy it's fall. I'm resigned to fall. It's here. I'm okay. George is in the house, says someday you're going to have to pivot into a climate-controlled storage rental. That, you may be correct. You may be correct. What I need to do is get rid of like my excess and my bulk. And that's another Bo problem where I just need to do it. I need to stop talking about it and just do it. Mark Marinello, here he is. He made it. Good morning. I have to admit, I was laying in the fetal position and sucking my thumb when the ninth inning started. Mets got off the mat again. Royals 417 is here. George says, if you had properly invested in Bitcoin, you could already have one. I know, right? John says, you're not holiday people. Are you Jehovah's Witnesses? We are not. We are I am nothing. I choose no religion. I have no religion. So, no, we are not Jehovah. I felt really bad, and especially growing up in a small town. Like I grew up in a tiny town, tiny school, and we did have one family in town that were Jehovah's Witnesses. And this is what sucks living in a small town if you are a minority, because you're like different. If you're Asian or Black or Hispanic or Jehovah's Witness, because everybody else is white Catholic or white Methodist and nothing else. So that's what, there's just no, it's just white in Anawan. So we had one Jehovah's Witness family. So like during, we had Christmas parties. I don't think they can do that anymore. I think that's a thing of the past. Holiday parties, non-denominational holiday parties, which I'm okay with, because I felt so bad. Like there were two kids that were kind of my age, a little younger, but like, oh, they have to go and do study hall. Like, what the fuck? Like, that's like everybody else, which is only like say it's junior high. There's 100 kids in the junior high, but you are the only one that has to go whatever. I don't know. So I feel bad for the kids that had to endure that. And I don't think they have to now in today's world. We've kind of wisened up on things, and it's like, let's not cast people out. Red Light 34 is in the house. Good morning. Brian is here. Good morning. Poll, ambient music at card shows or no sound? No sound. No sound. Let the ambiance be the people talking. No music. I hate music at card shows. Royals 417 says, congrats, Mark. Exciting game. David's here. Good morning. Mark says, same to your Royals. Go beat the evil empire. Johnny Boy Cards in the house. Happy Friday. Philly Joe, good morning. John says, professional wrestling is soap opera for guys. Absolutely. 100% agree. Double A Cards is here. Good morning. George says, update on holidays in Korea. 16 official government holidays per year in Korea. Most are related to their multiple independences. So we have what in the States? 5? What are our 5 like? Well, I guess there probably is. Actually, there's in the U.S., there's probably more than 16 government holidays. Now I'm curious. I'm just thinking of like, because you're a teacher, so you get even teachers in America get a ton of holidays off. Government holidays in America. Those are public holidays. What's the difference? Federal holidays? Yeah, federal would be government. There's only 11. There's only 11. I thought there was like 20. There's only 11 federal holidays in the U.S. New Year's Day, Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday, George Washington's birthday, Memorial Day, Juneteenth, Independence Day, Labor Day, Columbus Day, Veterans Day, Thanksgiving Day, and Christmas Day. I thought there were a few others sprinkled in there. 11 in the US, 16 in Korea. AA Cards took a day off and going to listen to all day. And I think he corrected himself. He's going to list all day. List. Max says, spend your money. Back when I had a real job, I sent over $200K per month to nursing homes around here. Dave Arnold in the house. It's storming in Bushnell. Bushnell. Good morning, BPC. John says, just had a 99-cent offer on a $4 card. Broke down the cost for the buyer. I get offers all the time. Many of them I ignore. Say it's $1.75, which that's kind of the base price. Sometimes I'll throw 99-cent free shipping in my store. But most of the time it's $1.75. And I'll get offers of $1 all the time. And most of them get ignored unless you send multiple offers of $1, then I'll accept them. But just one card, one offer, one card, I'm just going to ignore. I'm not even going to spend the time to decline or counter. And sometimes the person who sends the offer will reach out via message, just like in John's case. And I received one yesterday. It's like, no response to my offer, huh? It's like, correct. And there's going to be no response to this message either. I'm not going to waste my time on a $1 offer on a $1.75 card. If you really want it, fork over the other 75 cents or send me offers on multiple cards and I'll accept them. Mark says, if there was a Hall of Fame for pissing money away, I would be inducted. Slowed down a bit. John says the explanation led to the what's the best you can do question. I said blocking you. I get chippy on Friday, old John. That's funny. That's funny. Where are we at? George says, but if the holiday falls on a Saturday, you lose it. Oh, man. If it falls on a Sunday, they will move it to a Monday. Okay. So some years about 50 or 60% fall on a Saturday. So those years you get almost none. Well, that blows. John says, can we look up the origins of spilling the beans? It probably comes from I was going to say medieval times. That might be spilling the beans. The phrase spill the beans is believed to have originated from an ancient Greek voting method, but there is no direct evidence to support this. In ancient Greece, voters would cast anonymous votes by placing white beans in a jar for a yes vote and dark-colored beans for a no vote. If the jar were accidentally spilled before the vote was complete, the election results would be revealed prematurely. Early 20th century, however, some sources, including Merriam-Webster, say that the phrase, spill the beans, didn't appear until the early 20th century in the United States. At that time, it was primarily used in reference to sporting events and meant to spoil or upset something. But where was the origin from that? I'm going to go with the Greek voting method as the origin of spilling the beans, and then somebody in America just stole it in the early 20th century. Ron Dane, remember when he was a thing? Man, he is still a thing in Madison, Wisconsin. I know everywhere else he's not, but around these parts, Ron Dane is the man. Paul Carl in the house, good morning. Brian says, John, what about all other days of the week? I'm just cynical the other 6 days. Wisconsin running backs are like Ohio State quarterbacks. That's a very good comparison. It's a very good comparison. Ron Dane, one of the all-time great college running backs, not so much in the NFL. Monte Ball didn't really pan out in the NFL. James White, Melvin Gordon has kind of fallen off. We'll see how Jonathan Taylor's career goes. Who am I missing? Braylon Allen. He's a rookie for Mark's Jets. We'll see how Braylon Allen pans out. The Badgers don't have a running back now. And in fact, they probably really don't. They're, I guess, top running back, you would call it, Chez Mellusi, just quit. I don't know if quit the team is the proper word, but he's no longer in the program or no longer on the team. He's stepping away. Phillips in the house. Good morning. Burn the nighttime oil. How do you market your eBay store, and has it been effective? Well, that's kind of a tough to answer. I built my store kind of around my social media presence, which worked wonders. In terms of other marketing, I just promote the listings. I do this show. I'm on Twitter, and that's kind of it. I'll send marketing newsletters every once in a while. I probably should send one out. It's been a while, a couple weeks. But I sponsor the Madison Card Show. It's like I'm paying for these ads for the Madison Card Show. I might as well get some use myself. So I put 99centcards.com. I've got a big poster that I hang at the Madison Card Show with my website and all that. So there's various ways that I do it. John says, Wesker Griff texted me at 2 a.m. to say the Phillies have the highest average playoff ticket prices by far. Interesting. Biscuit. Absolutely. We love our little Biscuit. Beautiful tribute. Absolutely. Biscuit would want you to use dark mode for Twitter. For some reason, dark mode is on my Twitter on my other computer, but it's on regular mode on this computer and my phone. But and I don't know how to change it on my shipping room computer. I don't know how to change it back, but it is on dark mode. I agree with Orlando. It is an awesome gift. Max says, Jesus, flashbang. That's good stuff. Yes. Very nice. John says, I got the pick from Frank's ring cam. Wonder how old Frank's doing. Cooter says, shit, you mean Keating has a heart. There goes my belief system. Absolutely agree with Red Light. That was awesome. John says, no games on Friday. It's Olive Garden day around here. Billy Joe says, very nice card, John. Johnny M, what's up? Let's go Mets. What a game. I didn't watch it. Happy Friday, grinding for good. George says, tell me about it. I'm very familiar with living in a small town and being a minority. Cooter says, I too received a rack from Mr. Keating. An awesome 77 Topps cloth sticker of Nolan Ryan. Nice. I needed to complete my set and some awesome Kellogg's of McCovey and Vita Blue. Very cool. John says, George Round Eyes deserve to be discriminated against. Michael Renicky is here. What's up? Max says, good God, no music. I'm with Max. No music at card shows. John says, I was refused entry to a restaurant for being a round eye. I shrugged it off. Mark, too, received a kind gift from Mark Keating. John has a big heart. Don't let the rough exterior fool you. Max says, like 10 here. The federal holidays. Fuck with Dre Day is also a holiday. George says, I know very well, John. I've been spit on in the streets, refused service, had the cops called on me for buying beer at the mart, and then getting in my car to drive home. Hail Mary hits. What's up? I do the exact same thing. John says, that's horrible. Wear your Kim Jong-un shirt. Zach and Porter in the house. What's up? Accountants. George says, I just say some very unpleasant words to them in Korean, leading them running away. Merle says, Jehovah's Witnesses don't celebrate Halloween. I guess they don't like random people coming up and knocking on their door, right? I mean, when you really get down to it, I think they're kind of right. Halloween? What the fuck? Like, you're sending your children to go to strangers' homes and knock on the door for candy? Weren't we taught to not take candy from strangers? And here we are encouraging it. And then on Christmas, some big fat guy that lives on the North Pole trespasses into our homes through the chimney and leaves us presents, but then eats our cookies? What the fuck is wrong with us? And then when we're kids, if we lose a tooth, some little fairy comes, takes our teeth. Why do they want our teeth? What are they doing? What are the tooth fairies doing with our teeth? And they leave us money. They're like exchanging, they're paying us for our teeth. What are they using with our teeth? We're fucking weird. If you really break down our holidays, what the fuck is wrong with us? Zach says, Ron Dayne is still a thing. That is fresh coming from a guy whose town still considers Nick Foles Joe Montana. John says, the term rode hard and put away wet originated with Ron Dayne, according to Merriam-Webster. Ron Dayne from Philly, you fuckers. Is he big in Philly? I mean, he's the man here in Madison. And I think he still lives in Madison. He had a son that was a really good football player, played at, I think he went to Waunakee. Where's Michael Renicky? I bet Michael Renicky knows his Ron Dayne history. Ron Dayne had a son, went to Waunakee High School. And I think, I'm pretty sure I ran into Ron Dayne at the Nordstrom Rack last Christmas season. I'm like, this dude looks really familiar. And then I Googled, I'm like, is this Ron Dayne? I think that's Ron Dayne. Max says, White, Gordon, Taylor, Bennett, Allen. I don't know. Shitty comparison to me. OSU quarterbacks outside of what Stroud have done. Shit. The running backs, I will say, the Wisconsin running backs did have better NFL careers than Ohio State quarterbacks, with the exception of Stroud and maybe Fields. But they just didn't live up to the hype, right? Ron Dayne is a perfect case of someone who was super excellent at playing football but didn't actually enjoy the game. Did it because he was supposed to. That catches up to you in the pros. I always was led to believe that Ronald Dayne was from Jersey. Perhaps I was lied to by the Waukesha Freeman. Ricky Williams seemed to be a more appropriate comparison to someone who didn't love the game so much. We had, I've got some like reflux or some shit going. We had, the hell did we have? Lasagna? Pasta, whatever. Pasta. I don't eat pasta much. So now it's affecting me. Red Light says it's in your setting, the dark mode. Jonathan Taylor, also from East Philly. Unicorn Cupcake says he had too many Dre days to enjoy football. Uncle Rich in the house. Good morning. Jordan in the house. I made it on Friday morning. We're going to play Name That Player coming up. I've got 13 cards, football, baseball. I think there might be one random basketball in here today. Johnny M says it may be sunny in Philadelphia, but there is an orange and blue storm brewing. This is another series. Mets Phillies is another series. I don't know who to root for. Mets or Phillies. Victor's in the house. Good morning. Unicorn Cupcake says, when I was young, they used to play Motown and oldies at the card show. It got me into that type of music later on. Paul tried to impress the Koreans with trivia about Lim Yo Wan. John says, remember when Mets fans were lining up on the GW Bridge to jump? F-bomb. It's an F-bomb Friday. And our fucking weird holidays. Max says, you were a difficult kid, weren't you? Are you talking about me? Why was I a difficult kid? Why would I have been a difficult kid? Orlando says F-bomb. Good morning, Jody. John says, no one gives a shit about Ron Dayne in Philly. And I think that's because he is from Philly, but he didn't do anything in Philly except for high school football. But he's a legend in Madison, Wisconsin. John says, as Zach said, this is Nick Foles country. George says, I think my fish are fucking right now. Need some pleasure spray in the tank. Where's Mikey at? He can tell you where to buy some. Max says, doesn't Philly hate all their athletes? There's probably a lot of truth to that. I bet they do. Dat dude from Duryea, Thunder and Lightning with Tiki Barber. Yeah. Jordan met Ron Dane at the Rose Bowl in 2011, said he was a Washington Redskins fan. Random fact. And I guess that makes sense, being from where he grew up. Max says red sauce, tomato-based stuff will do that. No, actually, no red sauce. No red sauce, just Parmesan cheese. That's it. Uncle Rich says missed name that player last week, and thankfully the car issue turned out to be minor. And I think you would have done really well last week. This week, kind of a crap. We've got a good mix this week. Michael says, crap, Uncle Rich showed up. Thought I could catch up. It's quite the game at the top of the standings. Uncle Rich says, but you can't take too many chances with a car. That's true. Uncle Rich says, Mets, Mets, Mets. No baseball today, an unhappy Friday, says Peter. Max says the only team in the National League worth cheering for is the Padres. Yeah, that's probably, who else is in the National League? Mets, Phillies, Padres, Dodgers? Oh, shit. Yeah, you're right. Padres. Uncle Rich says, always root against the Phillies. Yeah, it's like Mets or Phillies. I don't care. Go Padres. We need the Padres to represent the National League. American League, there's still a couple teams I'd root for. We've got the Royals, the Tigers. Who else? So we've got Royals, Tigers. Who else is in the American League still? Yankees. That's an easy no. And Guardians. And I don't like the Guardians either. So I'd like to see the Royals and Tigers meet up. Let's see. John says Mets fans are the reason we have participation medals in school now. Philip just sold a Todd Hundley card. There you go. Uncle Rich says, John, that was going into the 9th inning last night. Max says, asking all those questions. Oh, I forget which questions I asked. John says, the better Kelsey once said, no one likes us. We don't care. Philip says, saw that Bo, a featured seller on Collects. Hey, yeah, check me out on Collects. 1 million Cubs. I'm up to like 225 cards sold. It's been, tomorrow will mark my second week on the platform. So 225 cards in 2 weeks. Pretty good. I haven't listed much on there in the last few days. I do plan on getting some new inventory posted to Collects. It's so easy. Like it's like, oh, I can list 100 in no time. So I'll be listing a bunch today on Collects. Still got some shipping to do, and then we'll list some stuff on Collects today. COLLX. Download the app, find my store, buy my cards. Zach says, chances every card in Name That Player will be featured in next week's auctions. Hi. No, probably not. Probably not. But you may find some in maybe my Collect store. Maybe I'll put these in my Collect store. John says, truthfully, no one really cares about college football in Philly. College basketball appreciated way more. Yeah, because Philly, like, is there a college football program in Philly worth a shit? No. Basketball, yes. Basketball. Philly's a haven for college hoops. That dude from Duryea, Philly fan here, reminding the Mets will always Met. There you go. Max says, I'm pretty sure Dane went to high school in Jersey. Nobody cares where he lived, was born. Jordan is laughing at Max. Max says, Rich always root against the East Coast, but he's rooting for the Yankees, Yankees, Yankees. Cooter says, anybody but the Dodgers. Yeah, that's kind of my rankings in the National League. Number one, by far, I want the Padres to advance. And then a distant second, third is Mets, Phillies. And then, distant fourth is the Dodgers. Rich says, Max, I'm from the East Coast. Tracy says, good morning. I hope everyone has a blessed weekend. You as well. Michael is rooting against East Coast, Tom. That's harsh. Uncle Rich says, New York teams are fine, but not the Red Sox or Phillies. Go Tigers. Pizza, pizza. Max says, and I'll take anyone in the American League besides the Yankees. Unicorn Cupcake says, yeah, Fond du Lac was trying to claim Kaepernick living there as a kid mattered and no one cared. Jason Kelsey is hilarious, says Uncle Rich. I agree. Zach says, I've sold any cards this week. I'm starting to get worried. Brian says, in the future, Mrs. Kelsey said, hi, it's me. Philly has the Philly 5 in hoops. Who are the Philly 5? Let me try to. Okay, Villanova, Temple, LaSalle. Oh, man. Who are the other two? The Philly 5. Temple, Villanova, LaSalle. And it's probably something that I'm. Oh man, I've got to Google this. Got to Google it. I should know this. Philly 5 basketball. Oh, Penn and St. Joe's. St. Joe's. Okay. Penn and St. Joe's, Villanova, Temple, LaSalle. Zach and Porter says Kelsey brother needs to go hang out with AJ and Big Justice on an island to take a time out. I'm okay with the Kelsey brothers, but AJ and Big Justice, oh my God. And now they're going to pop up on my stream. Oh, cringy. And I hate the term cringy. Rich says, I agree with Cooter and have the Padres beating the Dodgers. Max says, I'm well aware where you're from, Rich. You don't act like it, though, thankfully. Rich says, you were just a few weeks away from the Dallas Card Show. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. I'll be hopping on a flight on November 1st. I'll be in Dallas on November 2nd. Philip says, do stats carry over from regular season to playoff? No, they do not. Not in baseball. Lived and worked in South Jersey for a while. Not exactly a bastion of sportsmanship. Max says, and Tom knows I love him, and that statement doesn't apply to him. Rich says 3 for 3 so far. Nova, St. Joe's, Temple, LaSalle, Penn. St. Joe's. Drexel. The Drexel Dragons is 5.5. John just named him. Lofton Sun, Kaepernick. Max says, so one relevant team, but they have a nickname. Where the hell is Philly? Texas? Well, back in the day, before you were born, I don't think they're really. Does anybody outside of Philadelphia does like Philly 5 is just not a term we use nationally anymore because most of those teams are not relevant. Villanova is relevant. Temple hasn't been relevant since John Chaney. LaSalle hasn't been relevant since Tom Gola. St. Joe's was relevant in what, the 90s? Early 2000s? Who was the other one? Who was the fifth one? Temple, Villanova, St. Joe's, LaSalle, and Penn. And has Penn ever been relevant in college basketball? Uncle Rich says, been in Texas 33 years. That got rid of the East Coast stench. Mark says, hey, watch it. Makes sense now. The Big 5. Penn made the Final Four in 1979. Okay, so Penn was relevant in 1979. Columbia beat both St. John's and Penn that year, the teams that played in the Elite Eight. That was a wacky, like you look at like the Elite Eight of 1979, of course, the Final Four. It's not a conference. LaSalle had Lionel Simmons, first-round pick to the Sacramento Kings. Penn was in the Final Four in 1979. St. Joe's had Delonte West and Jameer Nelson. Yeah, so that would have been what, 03? They went undefeated until the tournament one year. That might have been with Jameer Nelson and Delonte West, which would have been what, early 2000s? Or was that in the late 90s? St. Joe's had an undefeated team going into the NCAA tournament sometime when I was in high school or college. Zach says Simmons could ball. Big 5 is the term. My uncle in Philly lives next to St. Joe's. Brian says Iowa. Just throwing it out there because I'm tired of hearing about Wisconsin, the Philly 5, etc. Corn Sweat and Iowa. Uncle Rich says Final Four that year was DePaul, Penn, Indiana State, and Michigan State. Yeah, and DePaul hasn't been relevant since the early 80s. And Indiana State hasn't been relevant since Mikey graduated. Where is he? Delonte West, if I recall, very sad story. Yeah, he's like homeless and not good. And I know several of his teammates have tried helping and just Sometimes it's hard to help. 1985 was the greatest Final Four ever. Three of the four were Big East. Yeah, homeless and begging for money. Delonte West. The Big East ruled. Victor says, go DePaul. Max says, there's nothing to talk about with Iowa besides corn, Dyersville, and Brian Bulaga. What about Jess Settles and the Iowa Cubs? Shane used to root for underdogs. Not anymore. Give me a Judge, Harper, or Ohtani chip this year. I think I'm going to root for whoever I have the most cards to sell of. I'm just going to look. I was rooting for the Orioles because I've got a bunch of Adley Rutschman and Gunnar Henderson. Let's see who I've sold a lot of Bobby Witt Jr., so maybe I don't want the Royals. Who do they play? The Yankees. I probably have a lot of Judge. Who else is with you? Who's in my pile? I got Jackson Holiday right here. Nobody in that pile. Who's in this pile? Nobody in that pile. John says, you don't sleep with LeBron's mom and get away scot-free. Uncle Rich says, yeah, John, if we could have only got rid of Memphis State that year and replaced them with another Big East team. Please look up scot-free. Wasn't Bob Feller from Van Meter, Iowa? Yes, he was. Yes, he was. And just like Pete Rose, a non-autographed Bob Feller is probably worth more than an autographed Bob Feller. Brian Bulaga married a Quincy girl and Hawkeye track athlete. There you go. Full circle. Quincy, Illinois. Was she a Blue Devil or one of them Irish from QND? 1985, last year of the non-shot clock era. Johnny M says companies need to shorten set names listing. Yeah, I hate I think it's just like I think maybe we need to talk to the AI companies and be like, hey, can we shorten these? I know like the name is Panini Chronicles Contenders Optic Draft Picks, but so what I do in that case is typically I will put Panini Contenders Optic Draft or Draft Picks. It just depends. I don't keep the entire set name in there because you're typically not searching. People are not searching. If it's a Optic Draft Pick card, they're likely not even searching for Panini Chronicles Contenders Optic Draft Pick. They're searching for Optic Draft Pick or the number. So you gotta pick and choose which terms to delete from the title. Uncle Rich says Villanova Georgetown in the finals may have been the greatest team game ever. John says, Slipknot. That's another gift from Iowa. I'll just leave that right here. Calvin Booth from Penn State. Didn't have Keating bringing up Slipknot on my Hobby Evolution bingo card. How about that? Slipknot. There's one Slipknot song that I really like. It's Bleed is in the title, obviously. What's the Slipknot song? Wait and Bleed. My favorite Slipknot song. Probably my only song that I like from Slipknot. Zach says Cuban tried helping him too. Can't help someone who won't help themselves. Yeah, sad. Kyle says Iowa has produced some serious dudes like Bob Feller and John Wayne. Brian says QND is the Raiders. She was a Blue Devil. Very pretty and kind. Good. We don't like them. QND Raiders. Tory Taylor, great Iowan, not by birth. Tory Taylor, the next Iowa Hawkeye legend, baby. Unicorn Cupcake slips in and says Iowa also has duds or dudes like Ashton Kutcher. Kyle, add Dan Gable to the list. And Tom Arnold. Don't forget Tom Arnold. Claim one, you got to claim them all. Max says, can't believe nobody has brought up the non-unanimous WNBA Rookie of the Year, Caitlin Clark. Shane went to school with Ashton Kutcher. Really? I did not know that. That's a fun fact. Yes, Wait and Bleed. Love that song. Iowa's biggest export, Slipknot. Unicorn Cupcake says, was he annoying? Uncle Rich says, I've never heard a Slipknot song. Am in no rush to hear one now. Radar O'Reilly is from Ottumwa, Iowa. The character or the actor? Yeah, but Kutcher snagged Demi Moore, so he's better than you think. John Wayne from Iowa. I'm okay with someone voting for Reese. Max says, Slipknot, Korn, Manson. Sounds like my pregame warm-up list on my MP3 player. I listened to, I don't know if I ever had Slipknot on. Well, Slipknot, I don't think was really, well, Wait and Bleed. That was, they were coming on like toward the end of my high school. Korn was big when I was in high school. Manson was big when I was like Korn and Manson that was like their peak was when I was in high school. My number one like warm-up song to get me pumped up to sit on the bench was Rainbow in the Dark by Dio. That was my jam on the bus on my what was the like 8-second skip CD Discman from Sony. Zach says, with Optic, you will want to call out the ink dots. Philip says, grading cards down 24% year over year. And my grading of cards is like up 1,000% year over year. Or is it? Yeah, I don't think I submitted any cards last year because after the theft of my package, I'm like, fuck it. But this year I've submitted, how many cards have I submitted? 6, 7, about a dozen, which is a dozen more than last year. Let's see. Rich says she set rookie records as well. Mila Kunis greater than Demi Moore. I will give you that. Yes. I'll take Mila Kunis over Demi Moore. Max says, I'm not rich whatsoever. I bet I can guess the reason they did. Not going there. Ashton is going down with Diddy, or so it seems. Klein, Demi is a little old for your taste. No. So is Kunis. Uh-oh. John says, I too am okay with the Angela Reese dissension. Jordan loves Korn and Limp Bizkit. Dio, holy shit, yeah. Dio was my jam. I toured with Korn. There was never any extracurricular humidity with Korn with a K. That's good. John says, I'm a down low Limp Bizkit lurker. That's Butt Rock Central right there. Limp Bizkit. Like if you had like if Butt Rock had a logo, it'd be Fred Durst. He is the center of gravity for Butt Rock. Korn, music is a weapons tour. I better rethink that if Keating agrees with me. Brian, good morning. Bizkit bumps hard. Fan. Okay, you guys are into the Butt Rock. Wes Borland is a genius. Yeah, Wes Borland. All right. That's what I had for today. But wait, that's not all. We are going to play Name That Player. And I do need to get a couple things out because I've got one card at least that we've got to hide the fake autograph, the replica autograph. Brian says, still no job offers and no second round for the Brewers. Got a good Friday. Hopefully it's a good Friday. John says, I play break stuff prior to every Zoom meeting and Hobby Evolution. Limp Bizkit is fucking great. Listen to them often, says George. Zach says, the guitarist is normally the brain. Guns N' Roses, Rage, the list goes on. Borland, although I believe bass was solid. All right, let's play Name That Player. Here's the leaderboard. Max has taken the lead, but only a 1-point edge over Uncle Rich, and Uncle Rich has returned this week. Michael Renicky is creeping up 23 points, and the card hobbyist has 18. Those are our double-digit players on Name That Player. Oh, we've got Primus over Limp Bizkit. No, I'm taking Limp Bizkit. Primus is okay, but I'm definitely taking Limp Bizkit over Primus. I play Nookie before I buy Bitcoin and listen to Hobby Hotline. He did it all for the cookie. Michael Renicky says Limp. John says Borland is guitar, sometimes plays baritone guitar, which usually has 4 strings. Jordan says, glad we can come together with Limp Bizkit. Yeah, it seems like we're all in agreement on the greatness of Limp Bizkit. I need a dictionary to listen to Primus. Well, Jerry was a race car driver. He drove so goddamn fast. He never did take a checkered flag, but he never did come in last. Unicorn Cupcake looking to double my score today. All right, let's play Name That Player. We're going to start with modern baseball. Modern baseball. It's the evil empire. It's the New York Yankees. He's a Yankee. What was that movie from? Was that Little Rascals? New York Yankees pitcher. Garrett Cole is correct. I've got to get my YouTube up. Garrett Cole. On this screen, I have that dude from Duryea up, but let's confirm. Let's confirm before anybody says otherwise. All right. Was not prepared. Here we go. Use this time to hit the like button. I'm going to. There we go. Like button hit. Garrett Cole, that dude from Duryea. That dude from Duryea. Confirmed. All right. And you, sir, have 6 points, and you have moved into a tie with SoCal Guy 1967. All right. Next up, we're going football. Not current modern football, but modern-ish. And you get 2 photos. You get 2 photos of this guy, a Denver Broncos quarterback. Come on, Zach. Limp Bizkit is totally butt rock. 100%. It is Brock Osweiler. Max with the point. Brock Osweiler. Wasn't Osweiler, oops, wrong pile. Wasn't Osweiler the name of the dude in American Pie? Or was he a different last name? Different name. All right, Max takes a 2-point lead over Uncle Rich. And we're going modern baseball again. Stifler. Was that his last name? Let's see. Modern baseball. I wonder how many graded copies, and somebody probably can look this up. I wonder how many graded copies there are of this one. Oh, Striker. How many graded copies are there out there of this card? It's Kyle Lewis. Kyle Lewis. Max with the point. Oh, Striker. Yeah, and that was the shitty actor guy that played lacrosse or rugby or whatever the game he was playing. Max with another point. He's at 29. All right, Uncle Rich, I think you might be able to get this one. All right. Brian says, my LCS has 10 slabs of Lewis at $8 a pop. He's about $6 too high on those. All right, next up. We're going back to the 60s on this one. The Chicago Bears. Does Zach and Porter know this? The Chicago Bears. He was a defensive back. He went to college at Tulane. Wow, Michael Renicky. I didn't even have to give the clue that he was ended up being an NFL head coach. It was NFL head coach Richie Pettibone. Richie Pettibone. I know he coached the Washington Redskins. I think he coached some other teams. How about that? Michael Renicky knows his 60s football. Michael Renicky with 24 points. All right, next up. Yeah, Bob Greasy's rookie year. We're going back to the 70s. This is the one where I have to double hide. This is going to be tricky. Bliss Cards checking in. What's going on? Texas Rangers. Who's this guy? I'll take BLI. I'll take Bly for Blyleven. He does love to fart. Bert Blyleven. We'll accept Bly. We'll accept not Dre Bly, but Blyleven, not Dre Bly. Michael Renicky with the point. And if anybody disagrees with me giving a point for Bly, you can speak now or forever hold your peace. All right, next up, make sure there's this is just easier and I don't have to hold it. All right, next up, back to football. The Raiders. Charles Woodson is correct. Hall of Fame, Charles Woodson. He's a Michigan man. Charles Woodson. And I believe Max was first on that one. Max was first. Offbeat All-Stars coming in second. Max extends his lead. 30 points. Uncle Rich with 26. Bliss Cards didn't get enough sleep for name that player. This is a tough one. Unless you were were collecting in 2009. Who was this Diamondback? Arizona Diamondbacks. 2009 tops. Burns is correct. It's not Zach Byrne. There's an S on it, but we'll give you the point. Eric Burns. Eric Burns. Now I believe he's been doing some like TV, right? Eric Burns. Oh, Max added the S. Max with 31 points. All right. Next up. Ooh, we're going back to the 70s. Back to the 70s. 1973-74 tops. Dan's in the house. What's up? Wes Unseld is correct. Wes Unseld is correct. So I'm in a giving mood. I gave Byrne. I gave Bly. Should we give Wes? What do you think? Should we give Offbeat All-Stars the point for Wes? First person to answer will go with their vote. Jordan Brown says yes. We're giving the point to Offbeat All-Stars. All right, and he's at 9 points. Everybody says yes. Yes for Wes. Yes, we can use first names. It's just kind of like the next one I'm not going to accept a first name for. The next one you do have to give a last name because it's a common. Wes is not a very common. You know, what other Wes's played in the NBA, especially in the 70s? Might have been only one. But this card, I do need a last name. Actually, most of the rest of them, I will require a last name. First names will not do it. Wes Craven did not play in the NBA. All right. Who's this guy? 1986 tops. I will not accept a first name. Oh, Uncle Rich. There was another NBA player. Walt. Oh, wait. His name was Walt. All right. Swift is correct. Bill Swift. We'll give that to Uncle Rich. He added a Q, but we just know he fat fingered it. Bill Swift is correct. 27 for Uncle Rich. We're going modern baseball next again. Last name only. Will not accept a first name on this one. I will just like we accepted Bly for Bly 11. I will accept a shortened last name for him. Wes Chamberlain did not play in the 70s, nor did he play basketball. Wes Chamberlain played in the 90s and played baseball for the Phillies. It is Marcus Stroman. Marcus Stroman. Okay. Who got that one first? I think, was it that dude from Duryea? That dude from Duryea got it with Stroman. Stro would also have been accepted. Marcus will not be accepted. Would not have been accepted. That dude from Duryea breaks the tie. He's now at 7 points. That moves him into what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th place. Solo 6th place for that dude. All right. I did sell Marcus Stroman some cards and delivered it. All right. Baseball. Not accepting first name, last name only. The Phillies. Ricky Jordan is correct. Dat dude from Duryea. Ricky Jordan. Ricky Jordan. There's a whole bunch of them coming. Let's see. That dude from Duryea. Confirmed. The fastest fingers. And he's catching up to Offbeat All-Stars. That dude from Duryea now 8 points. One behind Offbeat All-Stars in 5th. All right. Next up. We're going to football. I'll take first name on this. I'll take first, because I think if you get this guy's first name, you know who it is. So we'll take first name or last name. Let's see. Here we go. Atlanta Falcons. First name or last name will be accepted. You don't have to type both. One or the other will work for the point. First or last name. Anderson is correct. Jamal Anderson. Oh, wow. We got a whole bunch of them come across. I've got to go to YouTube to see which one was first. James, Jordan, Joe, Matthews, Robert Jordan, Mike Schmidt making his move. Offbeat All-Stars was the fastest. Jamal Anderson. Oops, wrong pile. There we go. Where are we at? Offbeat All-Stars was first. All right. So he moves up to 10 points. He was catching heat from behind. That dude from Duryea creeping up on his heels. The Dirty Bird, Atlanta Falcons. All right. We've got 2 70s baseball cards next to wrap up this week's program. Kansas City Royals. I will take first or last name. First or last name. You don't have to type in both, but one or the other for the point. First name accepted, last name accepted. It's not Blech. It is Veda Pinson. Veda Pinson. Wow, we got quite a few. I got to go to the YouTube to see who was first. Let's see. Stinson. We'll give it to Uncle Rich Oinson. Veda Pinson. Uncle Rich was the fastest. So Uncle Rich now at 28 points. A lot of movement at the top. Let's see. Next up. We got to wrap it up with a Cub. Get ready, Dave Arnold. Get ready, Max. My Cubs fans, get ready. Oh, fuck. I forgot I had a second 77 tops. Here you go. Today's freebie. Lecoq is correct. And you got it free. He was right there at the bottom. Peter Lecoq. Pete Lecoq. And I believe Max was first. Here's the funny thing, guys. Wait a second. This is weird. So Brian's comment does not appear on YouTube. It did appear on my StreamYard. But we're giving it to Max. 32 points. Max retains the lead. 32 points. Uncle Rich in second with 28. Michael Renicky in third with 25, creeping up. Card Hobbyist sitting there 18 points in fourth. Offbeat All-Stars in fifth place with 10. And that dude from Duryea with a nice round today moves into sixth place with 8 points. Max didn't see the SIG. Yeah, I put it away. I should have no-sold it. Let's see. Dat dude says he is first on my screen. Offbeat All-Stars. So you guys do see Offbeat All-Stars. So he was first. Oh, we may have a correction. Grinding for Good sees it. And who else? That dude from Duryea. So I think we're going to take the point back. So here was on my screen, on my StreamYard screen, which isn't always accurate in terms of YouTube. That showed up first, which I would accept, and I will accept. But on my YouTube, that is not appearing. I've got Uncle Rich's comment that says his song has a great Facebook page. And Lecoq by Max, and then Lecoq by Dave Arnold. But are you guys seeing this comment on YouTube? Because it's not showing on my YouTube. Unicorn Cupcake sees it first. Okay. Jordan doesn't see it. Dan doesn't see it. So only half of you are seeing it. That's interesting. Andy didn't see it. Unicorn Cupcake had to see, turn it to the live chat. Jordan Brown doesn't see it on his YouTube. Uncle Rich doesn't see it on his YouTube. Interesting. So we're going to give the point because it does appear first on my StreamYard, but it's not showing on my YouTube. So we're going to take takesy backsy. So we're going to, so a scoring change. Max drops to 31 points. Offbeat All-Stars improves to 11 points. So here are your updated standings. 31 points for Max. Uncle Rich with 28. 25 for Michael Renicky. So 3-3-3. Card Hobbyist in fourth place with 18. And in fifth, Offbeat All-Stars with 11 points. That's interesting. So now we know. Don't type cock on YouTube chat. It may or may not show up. Let's see. SoCal guy says, do you see me on guesses? Let me see. Yes. I see that. SoCal guy, where you at? That's the only one I see so far. I'm still scrolling. I may have missed one though. But I saw the Lacotte guess. Where we at? Let's see. Okay, here we go. Aha. Here's why. Your YouTube is on top chat. I wonder if that's the case on my... Mine is on live chat, but it's on the phone, so I don't know. Uh-oh, Ernie's in his crate. He doesn't like that. Let's see. Offbeat All-Stars almost lost a point because of a glitch. Well, you almost lost a point because you typed Lecoq. And YouTube doesn't like cock. YouTube doesn't like cock. Let's see. Where we at? Uncle Rich says, Shane, I think we mentioned you in today's Dr. Beckett podcast. Very cool. YouTube doesn't like the name. Yeah, come on, man. Use better language. Where we at? Dad Dude from Duryea says, I have wondered about the sequence of guesses often, but I don't want a conspiracy for a made-up game, right? Let's see. Where we at? Give him the point, but ban him for saying cock. SoCal guy says, I thought I may have been first on Pinson. Let's go to YouTube. Let me see. Scoring check on Pinson. Let's see. There's Jamal Anderson. All right. So Uncle Rich said Oinson. So we gave him the point for Pinson. Second comment was White by Offbeat All-Stars, which was incorrect. Dave Arnold then correctly guessed Pinson. SoCal guy was in third place with Pinson. So you were third on Pinson. And Max confirms you were third on Pinson. There you go. Harlan says, I didn't see Offbeat All-Stars on Top Chat, but do on live. Now Dan sees it. Okay. There you go. Lay eggplant. Uncle Rich says he's on Hobby Hotline tomorrow morning. SoCal guy says, I'm on live chat, but it shows a different order. I'm on live, but no beat off. This stream needs some pleasure spray. There you go. Use your pleasure spray accordingly. Have a great day. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel. Don't forget my eBay store, 99centcards.com. I've got, how many auctions do I have going right now? I've got Sunday night auctions ending Sunday night. Surprise. Those are all refractors. I've got nearly 100 refractors at auction ending Sunday night. We've got our Tuesday night auctions. We'll stream those live starting at 7 p.m. Central Time right here on this YouTube channel. Some good auctions. I've got Wednesday night auctions that I just threw some random 50 cards at auction on Wednesday night. And I've got Thursday night auctions that just went live last night. These are wrestling magazines, about 100 wrestling magazines up for bid. And they just went live last night. They'll end next Thursday night. Pro Wrestling Illustrated, a couple others. So with that, I bid you adieu. I will be live this weekend, tomorrow and Sunday. We'll go live 8:30 tomorrow morning, 8:30 Central Time. So we will see you then. Have a great day. Have a great weekend. Talk to you in the morning.